What's going on, y'all? It's JSpo Reviews here, back at it again with another video, man. Bringing you guys my pretty immediate, fresh out of the building recap here for Power Moves. Had a fantastic time. I'm not gonna lie to y'all though, I am tired. You know what I'm saying? For anyone that's been to events before, my legs hurt. You know what I'm saying? I've been standing for 7 hours. It's humid as hell in ATL. So I am exhausted. I'm going to give you guys my recap here. Probably won't be as detailed as my usual ones are. I usually get a night to kind of just sit with the material, maybe even rewatch. Then I have notes the next day. So this is going to be, a pretty raw representation of how I felt about the event. I was also there, mad early. Shout out to everybody, Frontline Gang, as well as everyone else got to kick it with at the event. Probably my favorite part of popping out to the events. And I'll say this every time we talk about in-person battle rap, is nothing like the internet where everyone hates each other and all it is negativity. Like, there's a lot of love in the building when you go to a battle rap event. And I've been saying that type of energy has been following this event. And even though there was some times in the night I got a little worried. We'll talk a little bit about the rowdiness of the crowd. I know for you guys watching at home, it put a damper on a few different battles. I'll kind of give my perspective on that. And overall, just to get my winners here, it was mostly a clear night of results outside of a main event, which I will say is might be the best main event that I've seen, at least in person. I should say, obviously, really overly impressed with how Hitman versus Geechi turned out in terms of a back and forth. But we have to go over the whole card. So without further ado, let's start with the first battle. And right before I talk about Snake Eyes and J2, just want to say, yes, I don't have my mic. The audio is a little more fucked up on this one. We'll be back to regular schedule programming when I'm back home, but this is what we're working with for now. So first battle, Snake Eyes versus J2, the most genuine grudge match on the card. The hate for these guys has been loud and in abundant. And in terms of the result, I had told people, ask me about the battle, although I did predict this one wrong. I did have Snake Eyes 2-1 going in. I said that if someone is going to die on the card, which someone else ended up getting bodied as well, but if someone is going to really take a dominant loss, it's going to be one of these people in this grudge match, because historically grudge matches just aren't close things. Usually there's a very definitive winner and a definitive loser. And I thought the first round from both, you could really debate is both of their best rounds. I thought at battle started on Snake, he had the choke you out so you turn every color of the pride flag or pride month. I thought that was crazy. And he had a couple bars that obviously is material going at J2 for being gay. And there's really, I can't put it any other way, because his first 2 rounds are mainly that. It is very upfront, but I thought he started the first half of his first with his best content related to that subject. I thought he tailed off towards the end of his first, but overall I walked away that is a good Snake Eyes round. And then J2 rapped, and I had said this is an extremely messy battle, and I expected it to be messy, but something that really won J2 the first, and overall, gave him a great performance, is that his strength is how he is as a bar-for-bar battler, a puncher. And I said that if there is one thing that I think he's better at than Snake Eyes, it is that. Well, he took that, and he took it to the highest degree. I thought J2 pretty much punched all through his first, but there's a lot of effort in this. This is someone that clearly cared about this battle, and he ended up writing probably some of his best material, just bar for bar, that he's written. The whole "you were glazing, kid slayed," but I watch Animal Planet. I should have known. I know that a snake a snake swallows a rat. I thought that was crazy. Man, my brain is fried. You know what I'm saying? But he had a ton of quotables in that first round. I will say, J2, he had a couple bars in this battle that were atrocious. And listen, I got him winning the first clear. He definitely won the second round, even though it's not as good as his first. Snake Eyes continued some of those approaches from his first, where he was talking just it goes from kind of angling about him being gay and putting it in a creative way. He didn't really even have bars with it at some point in his second. It really borderline hate speech, if that's even a thing really here in battle rap. But it was just one of those where you're going so OD with the disrespect, it started going in more of a cringy direction. And I feel like people could feel that at home as well as in the crowd, because it definitely did not resonate, particularly with some of the ladies in the crowd. But in those first 2 rounds, what was it? J2 had a bar, something about you're a transgender cat. I don't even remember the punch, but absolutely not. Absolutely not. Then he also had one about you'll lick the floor, I'll make you reptile. It was this lizard bar, but he's gonna reptile. There was a couple of those I thought were a little reachy, but I just thought they were funny more than anything, because it just didn't take away from the fact he was up 2-0 very clear. And then you get to the third round of the battle. This is the closest. If someone wanted to give it to Snake, I wouldn't be that mad, but I still personally edged J2 that third round. overall, gentleman's 30. I got to give credit where credit's due. I didn't think J2 would be capable of controlling this audience and controlling this crowd. That's exactly what he did, and he got a pretty clear victory to start. And then from there, you get to A Ward and Av, which can't believe I'm saying it. It might have been an even clearer result. I mean, first round, debatable, as most Av first rounds have been this year. I know there's this, he hasn't lost a round, but he really has started slow in his first, and even though a lot of them are debatable, I personally have him losing quite a few first rounds this year. Edge Marv won the first over him. I thought Chef Trez clearly took the first from him. He lost the first versus Nam Marino, and in this battle, even though it's debatable, not mad at someone giving Av the first. I personally edge Ward the first. He went for the very obvious, blood pressure angle and used it heavily, but I thought he mixed in comedy and some harder hitting punches with it as well. Couple rebuttals that obviously landed, the whole fake polo because he knows he can't put a horse on a shirt. I thought that was very clever. And like I said, I mean, outside of that, the blood pressure angle really is the majority of that first round, but I thought he did enough to edge the round. And then from there, Av did what he's done all year. I said he's kind of started slow, but I say that because then later he's written uphill to like one of the highest degrees you'll see. It's like almost every single battle. His first might have you worried, and then his second, his third, every one of them this year has just been incredible. And this battle was absolutely no different. And then to help Av's case, A Ward really had one of his weaker performances. I don't know if it's flat out bad. I'll wait for the rewatch, but I know his second was once again kind of took a more comedic direction with it. Oh my God, what was the second round angle now that I'm thinking of it? Maybe that's why I can't think of it, because it was just so all over the place. Oh yeah, about Av being boring. And he made up all those things. He's like, of course they're all made up because Av has a boring life. And I guess Av is so boring, he came up with a boring angle. It's really the only thing that I could think of because Av was dumping in the second. I mean, just elite, you know what I'm saying, in the second round. So very clearly took the second. I had it 1-1 with Ward getting the first, but obviously, like, you could debate that 2-0 Av. You got to the third. I think Ward's third is a little bit better than his second, but this one was all about Av, man. I thought for a majority of the night, this was sitting for me a performance of the night. It's Av, for me, second and third clear, so a 2-1 W. But if you can debate that first, I mean, it's a gentleman's, and not just a gentleman's over anyone. You know what I mean? A gentleman's over Ward, who is an active top tier and also one of the top 10 battle rappers in 2024, in my opinion. So overly impressed. The monster career year, I mean, by far it feels like the best year of Av's career at this point continues. And the Ward win, it might be his best performance yet. So then after Av and Ward, you get to Swamp versus T-Rex. And for anyone that has seen my opinions on this battle and the whole lead up to the event, I've been in love with this matchup. I've been in love with this matchup for quite some time. I'd say well over a year and a half now. I've kind of seen the potential for the conversation they could have. And obviously, it was my battle of the night pick. I was very excited. It wasn't bad, but it did not quite go that way. And there is some flaws within the event, even though, like I said, I think it was a great event. I don't know what I would rank it yet. Maybe in the 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 range. I might lean more towards 8 out of 10, but especially with like a mega event, an 8 out of 10 on there is a little different than like when a league just has a solid 8 out of 10, you know what I mean? But you got to talk about a little bit of almost like the production issues with this battle, right? First of all, first round, I know cut off on the stream for a lot of people. So some of you might be hearing my opinion, might be really the first one that you've heard regarding it in terms of the first round. I thought Swamp's first was good, but not great. It lacked bombs, but it was consistent solidness. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't, I just thought it was like a standard round from Swamp where it's good, but a great round can beat it. And then Rex started his first, and it was 2 bombs. He had the whole, next time you slam your hat, your head will be still in it, which I have heard that bar like 3 or 4 times now. I think this might be the last time that I'm giving it full credit, like haymaker credit when I hear it. But a great start, especially to see Rex rebuttaling. It's just big for the momentum. And then his second bar was a landscaping bar that hit crazy in the building. But I thought Rex he heated all the way up in those first 2 bars. I thought the rest of the round was him just kind of tapering off a little bit from there. I guess there was a few people in the building that gave Rex the first, so I can't act like there's no debate to it, but I pretty comfortably edged Swamp that first round. And then when you get to the second, even though I think Swamp's second is the peak of the battle, this is when you get into, at least in the building when it was noticed, I know it was a lot worse, I've heard from you guys on stream, but the talking in the crowd. You guys got to understand the way it was set up is you can see that little stage in the middle, and it was just the battlers with the circle around. But as you go farther to the right, to the back of the venue, there is a a humongous open bar. You know what I'm saying? Just one granite slab that goes pretty much through the venue. And it's like it got packed. The building was pretty packed out by this point. So we're talking probably that kind of 800 or more. I mean, it was a sold out event. And the noise was ridiculous. They really did not stop the entire night. But when you're live there, kind of like front row where I was, you're really only getting the battlers, you know what I'm saying? Like they're rapping and you're getting kind of the reaction around the stage, the immediate people you're with. But I could definitely hear the talking. And when you get to Rex and Swamp, I feel like the battle could have been even better. I still thought it was solid, but it could have been that kind of battle of the year type of look if there wasn't just this craziness. And it was funny because I kind of got mad or frustrated, I should say, with security in the beginning because they were trying so hard to keep people quiet for the battles that, like, when people were reacting to a bar, they're like, hold it down, like, immediately. You know, it's like going to a concert and telling people to be quiet. We're here to cheer. So on one hand, there's that, but I can understand when it's fucking up the stream to the level that I'm seeing online where people are like these chatty crowds and once again, everyone had their torches out ready to march on Atlanta, like, oh, Atlanta crowds, this and that. And listen, they have their flaws. This is my personal first time watching an event in Atlanta from the in the building perspective, but they've had their flaws. I've given my own critiques. But this is also kind of the side effect of big stages. If you guys want events that are 800 to 1,000 people, that are a spectacle, the crowd, guys got to get their crowd control up because these people are going to talk. It's a fucking 1,000 people in a building. Like, you just got to, at some point, like, it is part of it, but particularly by the bar, it was ridiculous for Rex versus Swamp. And it was the drug bar round from Rex versus Swamp. It just happened to be Rex's worst round as well. So Swamp won it very clear, but as you guys know, as good as it was, it was definitely very stop-and-go pace because of the interruptions. And you get to the third, I think that's Rex's best round. And I want another rewatch. I believe I edged it to Rex. I don't remember. I might have tweeted differently. I think I put Swamp 2-1/3-0 because someone could argue the 3-0 for Swamp, even though the first and the third, in my opinion, are both pretty close rounds. But I edged Rex the third round. Just thought he finally kind of found that consistency that I was looking for in the first two rounds from him. But it's not like it's a bad Rex performance. It's definitely worse than the last two we've seen. And for Swamp, this is just another... Listen, even if there was turbulence, there's things that take away from the battle a little bit. He still had the best round of the battle. He's still walking away with most people telling him that he won clear. It's another legacy plate he showed up for. You know what I'm saying? The Twork battle showed up for. The Verb battle showed up for. Basically, is just altered. We're probably not going to see Verb rap again because of what Swamp did to him. And then you have the Rex battle. He handles business. So we still got Calico on the way. We'll see what happens with that one. But while we're talking about some of the best years in battle rap, when you're talking your top 5s, top 7s, top 10s, Swamp has a high placement in that order. And with another legacy matchup coming up, you know, who knows where he goes next. Then there was this excruciatingly long intermission. Waited about an hour in between, and that's where I really started to feel my legs, my knees. They were looking at me like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how much more we got, boss. We don't know how long we can keep you up. But then finally, Big K versus Twork touches the stage, and I predicted Twork 2-1, and I felt like I was very respectful to also the skill set that Big K has, but I had said as many times as I could, all the times I've talked about this battle over the last few months, K has not been in front of that amount of people in a building that many times. And it's just, you need reps in that situation. It doesn't matter how good you are because he's a fantastic rapper. But this one is the guy who's maybe right now best on the big stage versus one of the best that just simply doesn't go on the big stage that often. And that's the result you got. I mean, this Twork performance, immediately, and I don't want to be dramatic because night of, in the building, you can get hyped up in the moment. You know what I'm saying? I might even feel different about some of this stuff when I watch it back, but it is at least, I think, a top 10 New Jersey Twork. At least. I mean, he was incredible. I mean, it was a masterclass. It is by far performance of the night. And Av was great tonight. Av was great, but New Jersey Twork was on a whole other level. He was battling pissed off. Some people were telling me, like, he really was mad about losing that Cody. And he had mentioned it, you know what I'm saying, in the face-off, but he battled with that level of energy. His first is basically an unbeatable round. I thought K's first was pretty good. I could debate that K's first was his best of the battle, but it just paled in comparison. I what quotable is the whole? I'll make a long story short, like 9/11. And then there y'all go. I just say something like 9/11, and here y'all go jumping out the window. That was ridiculous. This is a golden retriever. This is a golden retriever to a chocolate lab like Willy Wonka, which was already crazy. Chocolate lab, chocolate laboratory, Willy Wonka, but the golden retriever because the boy got the ticket. That was just the first. The second round, I thought, was another repeat of the first for real. I thought Twork's round was maybe a little bit worse, but he had the crazy strapped in. You said you closed your eyes and hit something. You fucking clown. When I shot my first gun, he closed his eyes and hit something. The fucking ground. God damn. It was an ugly 2-0. And it just wasn't a fantastic matchup for K because, like I said, he's on that stage, an explosive performer, which I think Rock is as well, but not to the level Twork is, which is why I thought it was a worse matchup. And, you see K through the battle. Will y'all let me rap? Will y'all let me rap? And that's what I'm talking about, where was the crowd somewhat biased? Yes, I'm around people that are like, we're one round in and they're saying Twork 30. So I'm not going to act like it's not, but he is a fan favorite and you still have to control the crowd. And even though there's moments where it's unfair, I mean, these are the highest professionals of professionals. You know what I'm saying? This is the reigning champion of the year. So to have him, constantly being like, can y'all let me rap? Can y'all let me rap? Even if there's some like, can y'all let him rap? There's just a way to make it look as a performer where in this situation, I thought it kind of added to the worst optics. And then you get to the third. I mean, it's technically Twork's weakest round. It's still a very good round. And then Big K kind of chokes halfway through. He had I thought he had some really good angles in there as well. The whole angling, getting your life together. You already got the medal up there. You don't got enough on your plate. Like there's moments where clearly you can see K had some very strategic approaches. He had some good bars here and there. I mean, I would even say haymaker-worthy material, but there's another element to that big stage, the pacing of it, dealing with all the constant little sounds in between. I felt like it kind of got to K early, and then it does not help that you were standing in front of this like Godzilla version of New Jersey Twork with a 10 out of 10 first, an 8 to 9 out of 10 second, and then like a 7 to 8 out of 10 third. So Twork, easily performance of the night. Really in almost like kind of body bag. It really was body bag fashion. So many times I come on here with the recaps and I've told you probably 98% of the time that the dog has struck again. But I fear on power moves that the dog was in fact struck. And Twork gives not just performance of the night, but it really could be up there for performance of the year. And that leaves you with the main event, which was Geechi Gotti versus Hitman Holla. And I love living in a world where the main event ends up being battle of the night as well. It's just, it feels like most events should be like that. And from first round to third, man, it's a war of so many approaches. It's a war, and that's really what it is above all. Is I feel like both of them were really strategic in this battle. I mean, their second is like damn near a wife off. I mean, there's really no other way to put it. Geechi spent the whole round talking about Cinnamon, and Hitman spent basically the whole round talking about Geechi's wife, Asia. So, but that's just when you get to the second. I mean, all 3 rounds of this battle, it's really, really good. And it's specifically the first from both. And listen, when Geechi rapped his first, I had said, especially with that WAC 100 kind of panel that they were all on, I thought that would not work in Hitman's favor, giving Geechi an extra layer to add to any type of like gang related angle. And dog, did he ever. I mean, like I said, I can't explain it all. They both had long ass rounds as well, but as you should, it's the main event. It was treated like an epic, like a war. And quality wise, they both brought it, but fantastic angling from Geechi out the gate, bringing up everything related to that, kind of going right at Hitman's character. But I thought Hitman attacked him back very well. And it's so funny because there's just people, and it's not even that this was mainly his first, but it's like legacy talk. People are like, oh, here Hitman goes with the legacy talk. I mean, I get that you don't want him to overdo it, but why would one of the most successful battle rappers ever not constantly like talk about his success in a weaponized fashion? Like, you guys got to get over yourselves a little bit. A lot of that material is still very good, hard-hitting material. It does not get tiring because you're tired of his numbers or his winning. You know what I'm saying? However, the first 2 were so 50-50, but if I had to call them, still first watch, like my kind of result I tweeted out, I did have Geechi edging the first round. I just thought it was too potent what he led with. He had a couple ridiculous haymakers out of it. You're not a blood, you're just part of the red squad. Like, that was incredible. He had the whole crowd yelling "Wildin', Wildin'." Like we were doing that for probably 15, 20 seconds. It was really a moment. Then you get to the second round. That's when Geechi got into the whole type of, cinnamon angle, particularly her getting shot. And he took a few different ways with it. First, he said it was fake, and he had some good bars out of it, but I wasn't like that moved by it. You know what I'm saying? Then it's funny at a moment where he's like, he talked about the easy bar versus Hitman, like you let your wife take a headshot for you and still ain't marry her. And then later he flipped it into a bar, which was a super haymaker, saying you let your girl engage in a shootout and y'all ain't even engaged. And while that was a bomb, he then brought it back around 2 more times. He's like, you let your girl get on one knee and ring, but you won't get on one knee. Like, you see where I'm going with it. And I realized he's clever because he said the easy bar, and then he basically did 3 to 4 different versions of Easy's bar. And then the engaged one, it hit. It definitely was different on the wordplay, but I kind of realized, I'm like, this guy basically just took already a quotable versus Hitman and is like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say it 4 different ways and get credit for it every time. But a very good second still. There was so many. I almost want to do a bar for bar. Probably will, at the very minimum, do a review for Geechi versus Hitman, because it is a very important battle, and it happens to be a fucking fantastic battle as well. But while it was good, I thought it was maybe a little step down from the first. You can kind of like poke holes in the validity, the delivery, you know what I'm saying? A little bit more in that first round. And then you get to Hitman second, goes right back at Geechi. Talk about he's got a homie that's been smashing his wife, which, at this point, like I said, they had a wife off. You can somewhat question the validity, but it just got ridiculously personal in this moment. But he was able to mix some of that as well with the legacy talk, the stature talk. I don't remember if it was the first or the second, but when he said URL for URL to get caffeine, they had to show them my numbers to get them on board, not yours. Like, yours was hidden. A couple of the caffeine flips were a little bit outdated, and I mean, you could really, it's funny because people will like look at Hitman's writing and listen. He had a telescope bar. He had a Attica. Like, he had a couple really outdated bars. I also saw Geechi say they were going for cinnamon, so they sent him in. Neither of these guys are Loaded Lux or Rum Nitty. You know what I'm saying? I'm not coming to this battle looking for penmanship of the highest degree. Yes, they're both going to have some outdated bars because both of them do every single battle. So it poked up here. It kind of like was emphasized, here and there throughout the battle, but the angling was at the highest degree. I thought Hitman was performing. What's he say? Like, you get your bones broken, so it'll be a little different when you ask your homies what's cracking. I thought that was crazy, but either way, so 250-50, first and second. As you can tell, very big fan of all 4 rounds that were wrapped to that point. Edged Geechi the first. I edged Hitman the second round. And then it comes down to the third, which for me is the only clear round of the battle. Geechi took the classic Geechi real talk third approach, but I didn't think it was one of his better, I didn't think it was bad either, but it's clearly the weakest of his 3 rounds. It's the one that lacks the most angling compared to the others and that tailoredness. And while it was good, particularly, I lost my homie at 15, I'm 36 and I still miss him. I love that whole part of content, but I thought Hitman was still explosive in this third, a little more tailored to Geechi as well. And then when he ended the battle, kind of sticking up for Cinnamon, right? Which is really perfect counter writing after hearing all that about her, or I guess counter writing, even though he's saying it afterwards. And he says it was 4v1 and she stood her ground instead of hiding behind a tree. I just thought the way that he wrapped up to that, the momentum, perfect way to end it. So I gave Hitman the third clear. I'm going to have to review it because the first 2 I think are 50-50. There is a fantastic case for Geechi in the first 2, as many of you will have, but personally I edged Hitman that second, gave him the third, and had him winning the battle 2-1 in what was quite easily for me one of the 10 best battles I've seen this year. And that is, like I said, my immediate, exactly how I felt about the event. Pretty much just getting to my hotel room back from the building. I can't wait to rewatch it too, because it's one thing to watch in the building and then get to watch it back on the footage. There's times I've had completely different perspectives, but at the very least, there's some performances here. I might just go watch Twork's first round for K immediately. I mean, Twork was really, fantastic. You know what I'm saying? It was him in his absolute 100% form. I look at him and Av, and I think those are 2 of the biggest wins of the night, even though J2, doing his thing, and Swamp doing his thing is a big deal too. Helps for their 2024s and what they've been doing with good years. But I'm walking away like Av and Twork, they really took it to another level versus like very top tier, dangerous competition. And then I look at Hitman and Geechi, and it's just, as I might have said at the beginning of this video, it's probably the best main event that I've watched in person. I don't remember how many events I've been to at this point. You know what I'm saying? We're probably over 15 across the board, but it stuck with me like that. I really thought they battled like an epic. They both had like 10+ minute first rounds, 10+ minute seconds, but I was actually so tired going into that battle, and it was so good. I did not feel the pain, you know what I'm saying, in my body anymore from standing all day. Really overly impressed, and I think that was like the perfect like way to end an event that at one moment, you know what I'm saying, there was the delay. I was a little worried. The crowd at some points jumped in, which maybe I'll feel even more strongly about when I see the stream and see if it really did affect that much of the footage. But overall, really impressed. Like I said, safely, I would rank it an 8 out of 10, but I think it has a debate, even with some lopsided battles, to be more of like a 9 out of 10, and really up there for one of the better events of the year. I don't think it's the straight event of the year like I might have thought it was going to be, but it's definitely up there, in my opinion, with at least, let's say, the top 5 events that we've gotten this year. But that is my full thoughts here. Anything else that I didn't answer, you want an opinion on, please let me know in the comment section down below, whether it's debating a battle, anything about the building or what went down. More than happy to answer and go back and forth with this event. And yeah, man, there's definitely going to be Cody implications and conversations to be had after this, going in there, doing the little re-rankings, some people that dropped, some people that might have even raised up. And overall, you also have legacy battles, because Hitman and Geechi is not just a battle. It matters for 2024. It matters in all-time conversations, the overall hierarchy of battle rap. But it's been J Smo Reviews again here, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. Also, once again, shout out to everybody that I got to show love to at the event, man. I love being a part of this culture, and I love being embraced. You know, saying I love you guys too. It's always great chopping it up. And I'm going to catch you on the next one, man. Peace.